the king of effervescence, the king of effervescence. A toast, a toast.
I love that. That's baritone Corey McKern rehearsing his role as Einstein in the Johann Strauss II hilarious operetta, Die Fledermaus. There, I hope I'm saying it right. This show marks the end of the 82nd season of the Florentine Opera, and here to tell us more about it, we have Corey sitting right next to me, then Ina, she is a soprano, Jamie's also a soprano, and then Bill is back. He used to be the director of the Skylight on stage with the Florentine Opera. He's in the role of Frosch, returning to Milwaukee for a second production. Great to see all of you.
Great to be here.
Thanks for waking up early and sharing your time for us. Let's talk a little bit about this opera. What's exciting about it? Why should people see it?
I think, you know, opera is often associated with tragedy. And,
not comedy so much.
Not comedy. This German operetta is a great comedic piece, a lot of fun. We're having a great time in rehearsal, and I think it'll translate to the audience.
And it's sung in English.
Correct.
Okay, so people will be able to understand it. Tell us a little bit about the premise. There you are again, doing your effervescence thing. Tell us a little bit about the storyline or what happens in this.
Well, Eisenstein, Corey and I are husband and wife.
Okay.
And the premise of the opera is Corey, a joke is being played on him by his so-called friend, where he's tricked into, I don't know, going to prison, dressing up as a French count. I'm his wife, but I'm sort of having this almost affair with an Italian tenor because his voice is so much higher.
Almost.
Almost. He ends up going to prison. There's all sorts of mayhem ensues. And then in the end, Corey seduces me with his watch, not knowing that I'm his wife because I'm dressed up as a Hungarian countess.
You know that old tale.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of, there's a lot of dress up and confusion, but in the end, everybody ends up, you know, happy.
A lot of trickery.
A lot of trickery.
That's a good way to put it.
And Ina, how do you feel about Milwaukee? What's it like being here and being part of our city for a little while?
It is a beautiful city. We've been here for about a week. I've been in rehearsal a lot, but I've really enjoyed walking around and seeing Milwaukee. Yeah.
That's awesome. What about rehearsing at River West? How is rehearsal going for you, Jamie?
Oh, rehearsal is going very well. John Humes, our director, has put together a hilarious production. Besides the singing in English, there's also a lot of dialogue in English. So there are a lot of jokes. It's a very tight little comedic adventure, like Corey and Ina said about mistaken identity. And a lot of the second act is just one big party.
I like that. I like
We've
that.
been having a wonderful
Bill, how's it being back in town, being part of this production? And you should also probably tell us a little bit about the jailer in this, too.
Sure. It's great to be back. I love Milwaukee, and it's great to be back. I've been at the Florentine before, but it's really wonderful to be back. Frosch is a bit of a... He drinks a bit, so there's a little bit of inebriation, but everyone, it's what the director...
Lot of effervescence.
Lot of effervescence. The director said, this is a farce, and it's when being a little tipsy can be kind of fun. The great thing about Fledermaus, I think, is it would be a great first operetta for someone to see.
Oh, okay.
Because it's almost like a musical. There's dialogue, and there's singing, and there's dancing, and it's not a stodgy old kind of opera. I mean, there's beautiful operas, but this is a lot of fun. It'd be a great family show, and I think a great first one to experience this type of operetta.
I sometimes wonder, and you can maybe speak to this a little bit, Bill, is I feel like sometimes Milwaukee is a little bit underrated or doesn't maybe get the respect sometimes that it deserves, because I'm always so impressed with productions that we have here in our city that we maybe take for granted because it's all so accessible and close.
It's really true. There's so much going on here. When people come from out of town, they're amazed at how many theater companies and how many opera companies and musical theater. There's a lot going on. For the size of Milwaukee, the arts are really strong, and many, many great companies. So it's a benefit to the city.
That's wonderful. The other thing I noticed about opera in particular is that it's usually a very limited engagement. Sometimes, you know, you'll do this massive production and there'll be one show here, or in this case, two shows, one on a Friday, one on a Sunday. What is that? Does that have to do with what all is involved in putting on an opera, or is there a reason for that, in your opinion?
You know, I think it's an incredibly expensive art form. It's somewhat of a niche community that watches it, so it's not really, we're not going to play for months at a time. But I think in a town like this, I agree with him. Milwaukee's a fabulous city. This is my 3rd time here singing. It's a great community, a very supportive community. But, you know, opera adds to the cultural landscape in a way that some popular art forms don't. And so I think just having a well-rehearsed, well-produced, limited-run show just sort of adds to the cultural identity of the community.
And lastly, I wonder, with an opera, would you suggest, especially if it's a first opera, you haven't seen many, do a little research or kind of know the plot lines so that you're aware of what's happening once you see it on stage? Because it's a lot to take in, I think.
Well, I would say in this case,
Not this one.
you know, it's in English. There's a lot of dialogue, and it's really hilarious, and I think will be enjoyable if you've never even heard of an opera.
Really
I think you'll be
accessible for
very
everyone.
yes.
Really, yeah.
That makes it great. Walk in off the street, do a little
Totally.
opera, enjoy
Absolutely.
this show. It's Die Fledermaus, right? Okay, we're saying it. Now, here are the dates for it, because there are only 2 shows, as we mentioned. The first one is next Friday, May 13th. That's at 7:30 p.m. Then the other one is Sunday. It's a matinee at 2:30 p.m. on May 15th. It's showing at the Marcus Center for the Performing Arts. And today only, thanks to all of you, if you buy one, you get 1 ticket half off. So bring someone with you, even if it's your first opera. And you can buy tickets by calling this toll-free number. It's 1-800-32-OPERA. And don't forget to ask about that buy one, get one half off. Great to meet all of you, and thanks for joining us here on the show.
Thanks for having us.
Anytime.
Thank you.